Hi, everybody. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a gorgeous, beautiful day. And we're going to do something really, really beautiful and really sacred and really different today. I wanted to give it as a little bit of a promotional tribute to our upcoming class that we've got that we're going to add on our World Weekly Ascension classes that are on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. And our classes are slowly growing. We're not going to grow these classes too much because we want to save time at the end for questions and sharing of our sacred healing journeys and our sacred stories. And so we want to keep the classes fairly small. And we're so excited. We're so excited. The links will be below. It's just a donation to the PayPal. And then when you donate, I'm so grateful. It also assists me in continuing to build in the benevolence and the abundance of who I am becoming as self-reliant and completely in alignment with my my reliance of being completely financially independent. So I'm really happy and I'm proud to be sharing that with you as one of my goals, my personal goals, that I don't rely on anyone else outside myself and the work that I put out and the energy that I put out for all that I am as a beautiful sacred being, knowing that that's the equal sharing of energy. That experience of exploring our oneness in abundance, exploring our oneness as the divine feminine, exploring our oneness as success after challenge and trauma and all of the things that we move through as divine feminine, reawakening in who we are as divine sacred beings and leaders and teachers and healers, and moving into more sacred independence and sovereignty. These classes will be specifically geared to that, is understanding the importance of self-empowerment, sovereignty, what that means in the Christic alignment of the Christic grids and the light programs of the highest Metatronic light body, and how it has been completely imbalanced and for eons been ignored, and how to align with that idea of manifestation and receiving. I was shown about a year ago the importance of divine receivership, which is the divine feminine experience, and how so many are imbalanced in this experience because of the egocentric, controlling, doing imbalanced energies of our planet, how everything that we've been valued for and rated on or evaluated within has been egocentric, doing and getting, and how much of this do you have, how much of that do you have, and you're not acceptable unless you do this, this, and this. So there's so many quantitative and qualitative judgments that we are all based and valued on, and we're stepping out of that and simply knowing that we are the essence of source creator, that just in us being here, we are the essence of who we are as love and light. So we're so grateful to honor the beingness of who we are, that our being here is important, our being here is valued and needed, and we don't have to be or do anything beyond that to be the unique divine ship of source creator. And so that's one of my passions in bringing this forward, is the excitement and the sacredness, to offer sacredness and beauty in all that is source creator, all life, all life, all life is sacred and beautiful. And not necessarily having to do or be anything, but just simply your being here is a beautiful experience and a beautiful gift from creation. And why it's important that I wanted to offer this, because the past year I've been finding and realizing, as being prepared through the holy councils and the teams, the very important role and the rebalancing for humanity within the galaxy is the understanding of the divine feminine, the sacred daughter, in humanity's evolution. Just as each and every one of us are cells, micro, macro of source creator, and our healing, our own densities, our healing, our imbalances, the mother and the father energies that each of us have to heal to be our highest mother, our highest father for ourselves, and that becoming us as the sacred children where we're curious and exploratory of all that we are spirit. So too is Gaia. Gaia is now rebalancing the importance of who she is for us in the symbiosis of with us, of all nature, of all life on our planet, our home, our sacred home. And how this in and of itself is also the sacred offering. Thank you, councils. Thank you. The sacred offering of the rebalancing of the daughter energy into our universe. And it's a very important energetic experience for our planetary ascension. And it is why many of us have come forward in these sacred times to begin to emulate and to begin to rebalance and begin to press out into new potentiation for the divine feminine, so that we can rebalance our human experience, because right now it's highly out of balance. And we obviously know that by what we've seen over many, many thousands of years of experience. When it's driven by simply logic and limitation of ego, how that results in the damaging of greed and control and fear and all the things that occur within those energies. And so as we move through awakening and ascension, we're allowing ourselves to see that we're far more than we thought, and to use and allow ourselves to heal the abuses and the misbalances and the misinterpretations of who we are as multidimensional beings. Who are we? What do we exist in? And what exists within us? So that we honor who we are in the awakening process, knowing our ascension cycle, why we move through experiences in the way we do, and why we call everybody before us. There are reflections of our wholeness. They're reflections of who we are. So they said something that's quite profound this morning. They said, the common thread in everything, in all moments, in everyone before you, is you and love. There is only you, and there is only love as source creator. And so that's the common thread. So anyone that you see before you that you find so challenging is an aspect of you, and there is love in that connection. And so what we've come to learn and remember is that, okay, what beliefs am I moving through this experience that I'm not seeing it as love in me? And so that allows us those simple statements. And they're reminding me, as many, many years back, I think on the Oprah show, there was a book that was written, What Would Jesus Do? That was the epitome of one of the lessons that Jesus taught and walked within, is there's a common thread in every experience, in every moment, whether it's an insect walking across your foot, or whether it's, building a beautiful home that you want to cherish yourself within, or whether it's a confrontation of someone that you just cannot seem to get along with. The common thread is you, and the common thread is love. And there is always love, and there is always you in the center of it all, because you are source creator, the mother and the father. And within this interaction, there is something within it that you are meant to remember and ignite and reflect upon, to show yourself that there is you within it, there is love within it. And our role is to seek it and find it. And as Jesus showed me many months ago, is that in every situation, no matter how it might appear, remember, circumstances don't matter. It's the state of being that you hold within it. So anything that's unfolding, you can hold within it that highest state of experience, so that you're infusing the highest vibrational potential, so that it unfolds in its highest potential. And that's why many of us as conduits are here to do, and crystal children. We're here to break the codes of what was, because there was not held the truth and the empowerment of the infinite within it. Foundations that break, and houses that are divided amongst themselves, which is the foundation that's not built on trust, the foundations that are built on, manipulation, or lies, or mistruth, or lack of integrity. Whatever those foundations are built upon, whether it's a home, or whether it's a business, or a social system, they will begin to shake, and they will have their own individual tower moments. It must, because that light will get through. That light will bathe and break up that density. And why each and every one of us, we can choose to stand before those tower moments and feel the frustration and the loss, or we can choose to say, everything before me is a part of me, and there is love. So how can I now choose in a new experience to infuse that love, to infuse that highest potentiation of my oneness within it, and then start building on new foundations, so they do not crumble and come down against one another. And those were always the master teachings that Jesus taught within every experience that we think we're separate from, every experience that we think that we did not cause that, every experience that we think that was not an aspect of our co-creation at a higher vibrational level, to pull out those lessons of our own unique strength and power and will of source creator. Everything that we experience is a lesson for us to tap into the virtues of the highest masters. We say the highest masters because they emulate, and they foreshadow, and they assist us in learning the virtues of the heaven, if you will. We say heavens, and we take those energies right out of what we have ever written about the heavens in religion, because it's far more expansive, it's far more multidimensional, it's far more infinite, it's far more eternal, and we just don't have the words to explain what the heavens mean. It's who we are within programs of light that expand evolution in every way through the divine mind and the heart of Mother Father, creators of love and light. And in this, though the ascended masters and all of the heavenly groups and the heavenly dynamics assist us in our soul's journey through all evolution to explore the virtues of patience, the virtues of compassion, the virtues of love, that assist the soul in its experience through all creation. We then create bodies of ourselves every day through our consciousness and our power to create, the will of the mother, the will of the father, the compassion of the mother, to create our bodies every day, cell by cell, so that we can continue our story of experience as the soul. If we're not aware of who we are, and we are separating ourselves from spirit, it's a lack of consciousness co-creation, where of mishaps. You're not consciously creating through the center of who you are, spirit. You're just creating from old cycles of limitation. So when awakening occurs, it kind of breaks up what was, and then you begin to start questioning and centering Who am I today? What's really going on within me? And how am I existing in this experience? And why did I create that for myself? Again, who am I? What do I exist within, and what exists within me? And how can I recenter to know myself as greater light and really create something I really want to create? Because that's why we're here. We're not here to be a simulation of an old program that no longer serves. They serve us in the lessons that are presenting themselves to us as ourselves and as love. But then we can step out of it and say, okay, now what? I really want to explore now. I can do anything. And so in understanding that quick synopsis of what our soul's experience on this planet is, and again, each and every person is in their own unique experience, their own unique earth, their own unique purpose and song with source, and it's up to each person to suss that out within themselves. That's the sacred journey. There is the simplicity of beauty in all moments, in all beings, in all life that is source, and it's up to each person to reflect upon it, to explore within it, express within it, experience within themselves. That's evolution. That's the color of the diversity that source is so excited about. That's why evolution is so very exciting. That's how we evolve within the genetics of who we are, the DNA. So very important that we do so and understand that. And in doing so, we start to want to gather more light. We get more excited. And as we accelerate, we start to garner those light. We start to garner those codes within our epicenter of light. And why it's so important that all that we are guided within and all of our choices to move and transition and move about is done from within, because through our higher self, through our guides, through our spirit, we are directly linked with Source Creator. The soul of who we are is our infinite aspect to light, calling in all gifts, calling in all codes, calling in all that we are to heal, to manifest, to create an equal measure of that which Source provides us in any way that we choose to co-create. Source will always have an infinite potentiality of who we are. Our awakening is to match that. And as we do, we become that which was all of the masters that came to show us the miracles that we tend to know and have been heard in our sacred scripts. They're very real miracles because they were matching that of vibration of Source belief in them. And Source and the Mother and the Father are always telling me every morning, we believe in you, far greater than you would ever know of yourself. We absolutely know what you're capable of. Anything that stands before you that you think is a challenge, Spirit is saying, you got this. And I remember this beautiful experience that Jesus showed me about a year ago. He was jumping over this brick wall, back in the old Jerusalem. And he was jumping over it in his gown. And it just looked funny to me because, his gown was kind of trying not to catch him on his legs as he was hopping over, sidestep. And he was just showing me, you got this, like just hop over it. It's not as big as you think and you make it out to be. So just align yourself with who you are as Source. You walk with the heavens, you have the wisdoms, you have the intelligence. Thank you. I'm just honoring in the respect of all the families that I walk with. Thank you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. But what we want to do this morning, that beautiful synopsis of what really awakening is and why we manifest what we do, to take that ownership, and really, really celebrate the opportunity to take accountability. When you take accountability, you're starting to garner your mastery. If you cannot take accountability, you're still saying that this reality is kind of wishy-washy and I have no part of it. No, when you take accountability, you start owning and you start garnering, yes, I am a master creator and now I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And that is in alignment of benevolence, of love and light, the benevolence that all beings have their own right to create their soul's path with Source and not to hinder or manipulate or try and swindle around what any one person thinks any one path should be like. And that's not for anyone to determine. That's Source Creator, that's the heavens, that's your karma, that's your soul's destiny to learn what you need to learn. And it's not for any person on this earth to try and manipulate any other path, any person's soul's path or destiny and what it should look like. And those are just getting into cobwebs of negatively garnered experiences that one would not want to go for, because it just creates much chaos. And it's occurred in other lifetimes, and that's the destruction that we're trying to not do. Just allow all people's paths to be what they will. Release the idea and the notion of fear and control in every way, because they're the most densest energies that one could experience on a multidimensional level. They inhibit cells. They create much de-evolution within the multidimensional bodies in every way. And I've experienced firsthand, so I can speak of the multidimensional. As I'm clearing the multidimensional illness that fear and control breed. within the multidimensional bodies, and having to heal yourself and work your way back into full program of light, which you absolutely can do. And so we just offer these experiences as, remember, all is neutral. We offer these as the wisdoms of in alignment and the universal programs of light, which means benevolence, oneness, the law of one, honoring every soul's path as unique sovereign experiences, and to release our ideas of all of the controlling systems we're letting go of in 3D, in our 3D. We all have them, we all reflect within them, we all play within them, and our awakening process is to step out of them as we're learning our lessons. Our soul growth wants to learn those lessons and really get that lesson so we can step out of it into a higher vibrational program. Because when we reach that 5D experience, we understand absolutely the effects, the cause and effect of our choices. And we choose not to do that anymore in that higher intelligence space, because it is one. You know, if you try and control someone's outcome, you're controlling your own outcome in a limited way. And whether it be a medical limitation, mental limitation, biochemical limitation, whatever one tries to limit on someone else will be the direct result of a limitation on oneself. And that is the cause and effect. And so understanding the universal laws of one, understanding the right use of will, that every soul has its unique destiny with Source Creator and you, your destiny. And knowing that and understanding that, that's why we return to center, and we are driven by those excitements of the soul and the spirit. It's a creative journey of everyone to explore unto themselves. And why we'll find that as awakening, we'll take ourselves out of any story that was limiting us about what we thought we should do, become, or be, or obligated within by any other outside law besides ourselves. Because we get to determine and we get to be the authority of who we are. That's sovereignty. I am the authority of my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul. My spiritual experience is unique to me and Source. That's it. And those where those choices are driven from and meant to. That's sovereignty. And why you are in charge of your consciousness. Your consciousness is in charge with you and aligning with your highest light and for the greater good. You know that you will always be aligned with your highest path. And why we have guides and teams to always help us redirect and renegotiate the path to our highest and best. Because we each have destinies we're here to explore. And it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be free flowing and allowing. And we will always have in that allowance. Again, it's the perfect equation. Thank you, Master Jesus. The perfect equation of allowance, meaning that when you allow your fullness to be all that you are, everything will be everything as Source's gift to you, everything will be laid before you. Your abundance, your food, your tribe, your excitement to be who you are, your healing of who you are, everything is laid before you when you align with your highest and your best. Through your allowance, I'm allowing my spirit to be my fullest. And in that, you have no time to worry about what anybody else is doing. And you don't want to. Because you understand the law of one. Through the vibration, you'll be aligned with who you need to be with. That's the law of vibration. You're attracting what you need to attract in that moment. And so those stories of control and all of the other timelines where we experience things like that, there are many of us here to clear those stories and why we do experience those relationships and those experiences of control and fear and energy games and things like that, because we are also clearing the collective Atlanta and other galactic timelines where control was used and abused. And it does great detriment, great detriment. And so again, we post it weekly because it's a great reminder for everybody that is awakening. And of course, it's always free will. You'll have to experience what you need to experience as your soul's lesson, but just honor energy as all gifts of Source. It's all Source. It's all Source. So be gentle and be careful and be curious and playful, and do it in a way of benevolent respect to all beings and all souls' paths, and just release the ideas of controlling any outcome for yourself or anybody. Just let that go. We're in the malleability of Source. And so trust it. If you're aligned with love and light and you're doing the best you can, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it all right. You don't even have to know your destiny. Just say, I'm aligning with love today. I'm going to do the best I can to be a higher version of me than I was yesterday. I want to wish everybody goodwill. I want to wish myself goodwill. You'll always be aligned, as Source and Spirit will always be helping you out. And why the right use of will is so important as we ascend and we awaken, so that we're honoring our soul's path. And in honoring of who we are, physically, mentally, emotionally, etherically, energetically, and spiritually, you're setting out your spiritual guidelines for you, your spiritual needs for your bodies, your spiritual needs for who you allow in your space, your spiritual needs for your heart space. As you're doing that, you're allowing to re-clarify and build in confidence of who you are. And we say that because part of what we wanted to do this morning is a little, is an introduction on the importance of self-honor and self-love in the healing process. It's all that healing is. And why that process and that introduction of what Ascension really is and the awakening of it, why it's important to honor energy of all facets, because honoring energy is the foundation of self-healing. As I'm already clearing. Pardon me. And so what we want to do in this healing process is we wanted to kind of give you a little promotion as to what our new Divine Feminine classes will be. It's going to be a really beautiful and sacred gathering for those who so desire to rebalance their Divine Feminine energy bodies, which is the ability to receive, the ability to understand about how that Divine Feminine energy is used in manifestation and creating a new reality for yourself, as well as the Divine Feminine healing all of subjugation energies, control energies, abuse energies, trauma and subjugation energies from the Divine Feminine, from all timelines, because as you're going through it right now, you're healing all timelines that you've experienced and why you have those triggers. So the Divine Feminine class will be about really self-love and self-nurturing and that self-care. And we'll also talk about Divine Feminine in business, Divine Feminine in abundance, Divine Feminine in manifesting, Divine Feminine as leaders, Divine Feminine as teachers and healers, to really step into the magnificence of your Divine Feminine. And this also is true for those that are in male bodies that want to work on their Divine Feminine energy. If you are in a male body and you are finding time after time after time, all of your triggers are about the desire to express your emotional body, the desire to be intuitive, the desire to be softer and gentler with yourself and others. All of those are triggers and wounds that you are healing in your emotional body of the Divine Feminine. So again, everybody has their male and female energies that they're working with within the multidimensional systems of all that we are as light. And so everyone is all welcome. The Divine Feminine is intention is to bring forward the collective Divine Feminine energies for rebalancing, for those healing, for those that really have gone through such challenge and dishonor and disrespect and disregard for their Divine Feminine experience, to come forward and start creating with confidence and empowerment and joy and self-love, and re-honoring yourself as Divine Feminine in the collective, and really stake a claim for yourself. You know, stand and be seen and be heard. And so that's what the Divine Feminine class will be about. And the door's open. It's so funny. Thank you, Spirit. And so we're going to offer a little bit of an example today of what that class will be like. For those that want to stick around, you're more than welcome to join us. And if you do want to stick around, we're going to provide a healing example for you. If you're really working on something, you've just had a clearing, especially because we're just coming out of full moon energies. And why it's important to create daily spiritual routines of self-care and reflection. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to clear and cleanse. It will be a quick version, by the way, because sometimes these take 15 minutes to half an hour. But we're going to give you like kind of a live podcast, if you will, of what I do in communication with the teams and the guides. Thank you, Holy Creators. Thank you. And we're in a very sacred space right now. We have all the beings with us that are supporting us, because it's really important. I've been finding out with all my classes and with all of my private sessions this last couple of weeks is at a collective level, there's so many people awakening en masse, and so many people are going through so much multidimensionally. I really enjoy bringing all of these forward from a collective standpoint, because I remember when I was going through it, not understanding what was happening with me multidimensionally. And so part of what we're going to show you in this part of the importance of daily processing and reflecting wounds is to understand your multidimensional bodies. Because what my teams and the councils have been giving me is, because we're accelerating the light, the purification, the rarefication of light that we will be bathed with will be continuing to accelerate, which means that we must sustain and maintain our bodies and our multidimensional allness as light. And that's why that daily practice is so important. because the light will only be more rarefied and purified, which means that those clearings will happen more quickly. And so those deep soul wounds, the psyche wounds, the chakra wounds, all of those things that have been occurring that you're here to clear 51% of your karma will happen at an accelerated rate. And so all of the experiences that I've had with all of the different people all over the world over the past couple of weeks has been about what I can't understand what's going on. I've felt such intensity with, really negative and dark energy thoughts. And all of these things are quite normal in the process of mass awakening, because at a mass level, there's so many more people that are releasing the darkness and the density from what they're clearing. And so if there is no processing of that information and understand why you're going through, you're still going to continue to manifest at an unconscious level. That's why it's so important that we talk about ascension, that we talk about what we're going through as a collective and commune about it. If you see someone having a rough time, ask them if they would like guidance, because you've had a couple years of understanding energy and understanding what's going on. And you don't have to feel responsible or as if you've got to provide them with everything overnight, but just say, hey, I understand what you're going through. I went through that a couple of years ago. And so this is what I've been coming with my clients too, is that they've been accessing their subtle body fields and not understanding what's been going on. And so to talk about that and have communion with that and understanding it and understanding the healing process and why we've created the classes that we have for the world collective level. It just adds that sacred support system for you, that sacred spiritual routine for you, so that you get into the habit of how to process greater light, because it's just going to continue. And you can fight it and resist it all you want, but it's just going to be a bumpy ride if you do. And why allowance is so very key, the law of surrender and allowance. It's just, you're a source, surrender, all is good, all is well. Just have everything move through you like it's just an ocean. You're just like, oh, whatever. You're meant to just process the towers, just process it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The part of healing, the clearing and the releasing of it. And when you're wanting to create a clean slate for yourself, it requires that we acknowledge what was, acknowledge it. Acknowledging the pain, acknowledging the experience, acknowledging what occurred, claiming it. That's a part of my story. I can't deny it any longer. I can't suppress it. I can't depress it. It's a part of me. I must acknowledge it. The importance about healing. So we're going to begin now. This is our promotional experience of what we do in sacred space. We honor who we are as sacred beings of light. We honor who we are as being and coming with infinite number of consciousness and teams that want to assist us in the evolution of our soul. The evolution of our soul is who we are in all timelines, all realms, in all bodies, all forms, that we allow ourselves to grow within the virtues of all that we are as spirit, as essence. We are in human form, coming from very limited and very fearful programs that we've created. And so we release ourselves from victimhood and we allow ourselves to take the full knowledge of who we are as spirit. And we say, we've created these experiences and these programs. And so now we're going to take ownership of it and we're going to claim it. I'm going to claim myself as a powerful being of light. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to start waking up to a new version of me. I'm going to create a clean slate for myself. And I'm going to clear my karma because I knew I could. And why you've been guided to these videos. There's no accident why your teams bring you here. And so today we wanted to talk about the healing and the clearing and the cleansing. This is in the morning, your morning spiritual routine, if you so desire, and then change it and add to it and shift it however you so choose and feel comfortable. When you're in alignment with your teams will be guiding you on what you need. Because remember, at every phase and every cycle of ascension, you will be going through something new as your light body accelerates, which means that you're going to need and change different things, either physically, either mentally, or either emotionally, because there might be months where you're going to do perhaps more focus on emotional evolution. And the next phase, next 2 or 3 months, might be a physical evolution, because there's been so much suppression on the emotional body or the physical body. Remember, they're all intertwined. They all affect one another. And this is why the daily spiritual routine is so important, that you value and you love who you are, that you allow yourself to receive yourself as a magnificent being of light, that your voice is heard and valued. And that is the recentering and the recommandment of who you are as spirit. And we're directing these more so to the divine feminine body because it has been so suppressed for eons. and because it has been so devalued for eons. And there's everybody on the planet that is not healing a divine feminine energy. And so today we're going to talk about any wounds that you have to process. We're going to focus on processing, but first to process it, we must clear it and heal it. And so in the mornings, you know, grab your coffee and your water and your clearing spray, you know, your little clearing spray, and your journals and your paper. Get yourself prepared. Have a beautiful little breeze in this, you know, the birds chiming, and just intend sacred space. I've been talking to my clients that you remember your consciousness is everywhere. Your consciousness is already in that place where you want to be. It's calling to you. It's just the body and your lessons here are catching up. You might want it to come back to a dense experience so that you can really tidy up that lesson. Your soul wants the expansiveness of source. There is no time. You can expand and contract time all you want. Your consciousness is everywhere. So when you create a healing sacred space for you, you're imprinting it with you. You're saying, this is my sacred healing space, spirit. This is my sacred space. And in this space, I honor and I respect all spirit. Spirit is with me in this intention to heal and become new in this space. And then just sit with your back straight, because we want to open the pillar of light that runs along the spine. And through our breath and through our intention, we are the one of spirit. We are the one of spirit. And this is my sacred space. So my sacred space is already enveloping me in light. Thank you, spirit. Thank you, spirit. The soul of me, the all of me, the teams that I come with, the ascended masters and all of the teams, they're all coming to experience me as being healed. They're coming to help me in my healing. They're coming to help me in my soul's evolution. And I get to state that with intention. And if I've just woken up, I'll do some breathing, and then you'll start yawning and you'll start waking your brain up and your cells up through sacred breath. And then I just do a beautiful, lovely sweeping motion from the root up and just clear up. I'm just calling forward any energies, any densities that want to be brought forward and recognized. And with my intention, I'm clearing up any densities, any blockages, anything that's going on within my bodies and my fields. I'm just clearing them up and I'm sweeping them away. And as I'm doing this, I'm visualizing the holy blessings of the Christ light bathing and cleansing my multidimensional fields, my emotional field, my mental field, my physical field, my energetic field. I am a being of spiritual light. And I'm clearing up anything from my chakras, anything from my dreams that needs to come forward that I didn't write down in my dream journal. Usually write down your dream stuff before you do your clearing. Because there'll absolutely be, if there was anything in your dreams that was traumatic or challenging, they will come up in this clearing that we're doing right now. And they'll be stuck within the chakras or within the bodies and the organs, because if you're an empath or a crystal, you're highly sensitive, you will have a lot of density in the lower chakras that need to be cleared. And so just intending that the Christic light, the highest light vibration of white crystalline light of the mother and the father bathing and cleansing you, just bathing the light into your organs, bathing the light into your chakras, and you're just sweeping out the densities. I choose to sweep out this density because my consciousness is queen and king. I'm in commandmentship of my light body. I'm clearing out anything within my chakras that I'm going to speak the light of spirit. I'm going to speak the blessing of spirit, so that in all experiences they all serve, and my spirit knows that. So I get to honor it with grace. I get to honor it with positivity, that every experience is serving me, and I get to speak positively and lovingly about it because it's spirit, it's source. I wanted that experience to become this blessing of who I am as light. And so just to continue light and gentle. I'm clearing my bodies and my chakras. I'm releasing now. I get to choose to release what doesn't serve. I get to choose to release anything that is within my systems and my bodies and my organs that needs to be released. And I'm acknowledging it. That I am acknowledging my powerful essence as a creator and as a healer. I get to bathe myself with white light. I get to bathe myself with love and with nourishment, that I love my body. I love my emotions. I love all that I am as a spirit. I love all that I am as being in commandmentship of every cell. I'm one with spirit. I'm harmonizing with the mother and the father. I'm harmonizing with my higher self. I'm harmonizing with my soul, so that in all that I am, I'm using my highest wisdoms, my highest intellect, my highest powerful mastery as a healer. Because I am that I am as source is. As my name is, source gave me these gifts, so that I can acknowledge, allow, and heal all that I am, to be my highest version of me. And that's why we do daily self-care. Because I want my body, my mind, my cells, my emotions, I want everything to maintain and sustain the ability to carry greater light, so that I'm constantly realigning myself with who I am as spirit, constantly realigning with myself who I am as an empowered being of light, constantly realigning myself with, yes, every day I'm getting more healthy, I'm getting more purified and clarified within who I am, and I get to be this for me. I get to explore and express and experience myself new as me. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And we already feel so much lighter than we did before we sat down. And then you anchor your body and feel yourself ground to Gaia, because you are a sacred trinity with Gaia, and just ground to Gaia, and just ground, and just ground, and just ground, and just ground. And just feel yourself anchored to Gaia. Just feel yourself anchored to Gaia. And just get comfy, because now you get to journal. You take out your journal, and you get to write. That's my favorite part. Because I'm an orator. I'm a sacred orator, and I'm a channel, and I'm a healer. And you get out your journal, and you just sit with your teams. And you sit with your teams, and you're calling in the sacred essence of who I am as spirit. And I always place my hand on my I am presence and on my divine sacred heart, or one on the other. And you're just activating your heart with source. You're activating your heart with who you are as spirit. You're activating your heart with who you are as Gaia, the collective, your soul. Call your soul forward. I call my soul and my higher self forward to have this beautiful sacred communion of who I am today. Thank you, Spirit. I'm calling in all that I am as sacred. I want to know myself as sacred. And get comfortable with yourself. And sometimes this might feel awkward, because we have been trained and entrained to stay disconnected from who we are. So be okay with that. It's okay. The whole process of ascension is to feel uncomfortable. If you're not feeling uncomfortable, then you're not going through change, because that's what change is all about. And that is what they were showing me this morning. A lot of what we experience as grief is just the transition of change, because we are so habitually patterned and trained into programs that are not spirit. We're not used to being spirit. We're not used to living in our bodies as spirit, because we're so routine, we're so entrained, we're so conditioned to energies and programs and behaviors that don't serve spirit. And so it will feel uncomfortable and awkward most of the time, because you're getting intimate with who you are as spirit now. And so we just sit with silence and just sit with ourselves and just be comfortable with ourselves. And we're calling up the energies and the vibrational stories that want to come forward through this healing and clearing. What acknowledgement that I need to see, that I need to hear, or that I need to know in the processing and in the reclaiming of who I am. I'd like to acknowledge what needs to be seen and felt and heard in every way. And I'm asking my spirit teams, I'm asking my higher self and my guides and my soul, please bring forward what I need to see, hear, and know for my own soul's evolution in this moment right now, so that I can get to know myself better. I get to love myself better. I get to create and rewrite and reinvent myself in a new way. And I'm asking that spirit, thank you, spirit, thank you, spirit. And you'll begin to feel these envelopes of love just begin to fill you and fill your space, because you're entangling, you're intending your entanglement with spirit. Thank you, spirit, thank you, spirit. And then you just listen. The engagement of who you are as love. And usually as something comes forward, there'll only be one or two sentences, one or two words. It'll be really brief. It might be a vision, or it might be a story snippet of early childhood. It might be something that happened yesterday. It might be a part of your dream. It will always be very short and very profound. That's how you know you're communing with spirit. And they'll want you just to soak within that vibration of that statement. There is a vibration of that statement, and it's profound. It's not just the words, it's a profound story. And that is flowing into the essence of who you are as a soul. Because that vibrational story and statement that source gives you, your teams, your higher self, your soul, is multidimensional, and it is your allness. Make no mistake about it. It's the only way that we can explain what that truly is and how profound it is for your healing, and why processing means you're acknowledging what's coming forward from that clearing. You're acknowledging the profundity, and you're giving yourself self-love to say, I care enough about myself to know that there's something within me that needs to be acknowledged and cleared. I want to process it. I want to process whatever that is, because I'm imbalanced right now, and I want to bring myself back into balance. And part of that processing is not only acknowledgement and the acceptance of what occurred, but then you're going to process it in whatever multidimensional way that your teams are bringing forward for you to process. Because if you're going through something really traumatic, and you're going through a deep healing, and again, if you have had numerous experiences of abuse in any way, whether it's a physical, a mental, or a sexual or a physical abuse, These will take years to heal and clear because it's a multidimensional experience. And again, depending on the trauma, there's never ever a blanket statement with this because we never propose to do that. It's a way for us to expand within the vastness of who we are and know that it's a sacred journey. And so they will give you a one sentence for you just to soften and surrender in that sense, that sentence, that statement, because it's vibrational, it's multidimensional. And it will connect on your wholeness, not just on this now moment, but your wholeness. And that's processing the vibrations of what your teams are pulling up from that wound to say, process this. It's a vibrational gift from source, from your soul, from your teams that say, if you surrender and succumb into this packet of what we're saying in the words that we say, but again, it's just the words we have to express, this is the wholeness that you can soften in. And you'll be pulling out stuff for infinity in that one statement. That's how multidimensional and all your soul is. That's how I feel it. It's a feeling, it's a vibration. So if your teams give you something that's profound and short, you just soften into it and it will hit you on every level because it's so profound and you feel yourself so profoundly. That's when you know your soul is expanding, because it's not just a matter of saying, this is the wound you're healing and this is how you heal it. No. You're going to soften in whatever they gave you, and it's a multidimensional expression that begins the healing in the cells, the healing in the mental body. It starts healing the threads of the wounds that were projected at you. It's a multidimensional package that you get to activate. But you can't activate it if you're not processing it. I'll give you an example. So I'm calling up this experience. So the worthiness of yourself within it. And so let's just soften in that, the worthiness of yourself within it. And so the first thing that's coming to my mind and that I'm visualizing is that what was my worthiness in an experience through which I was used or manipulated? And I placed myself within it just in a matter of now. As they said that, I was already placing myself within that experience. So my physical, mental, emotional, and energetic bodies and spiritual bodies were being imagined, consciously imagined in the experience that was most at the top of my mind, if you will, for me to heal. Because that clearing this morning brought from a deep trauma wound that said, I wasn't valued, say from a child or from another timeline. I'm clearing self-worth. But at the top of my mind in this now reality, it was because of an experience that I still have not yet healed, the grief from an experience that held me at really lack of value. And so my teams were saying, what's your self-worth held within it? Do you see what we're saying? It's a multidimensional allness packet that you get to soften and process all of the versions of you that had experienced that self-worth that was there or not there, that was taken advantage of or manipulated or whatever it was that you're going through to heal. That's why when we say processing and integrating, for me, just my experience, everybody will have their own unique experience, but when you're going through your daily self-care and you're taking that time to journal, you're taking that time for that communion with your teams and your ancestors, and you're softening into and you're succumbing into their package of guidance, you're allowing yourself the highest potentiation of you becoming more full and whole. And you're allowing that portal of your healing to take place on all levels. And it's multidimensional, and it's not something that most often than not doesn't just come to the average person that is steeped within 3D now stepping out for the first time to be awakened, because there's a lot of density that has to be cleared from the routines and patterns and behaviors, and that's okay. It takes a while to surrender into spirit and to have that trust, so that we're not reacting from ego, fight or flight, and we're going to surrender into the soul, because the soul knows, spirit knows what you need. When you surrender into the hand of God, that's what that means. Thank you. The hand of God just holds you and just blesses you and honors you and heals you. But you have to want to activate and intend that processing. I want to process that wound. I got to process it. Just as if you're going through a computer program, that computer has to go through the processing of those new codes. Your new code is saying, I am worthy to process that wound. I'm worthy to face it and heal it and acknowledge it. I'm worthy to know that I'm capable of healing myself within it, because I'm with God, source, creator, spirit. My soul knows, I know, and I'm ready to face it now, because I've had visions, I've had dreams, I've had all of these things that I keep manifesting. You keep manifesting experiences of lack of self-worth, then you're ready to face it. And so that processing is just enveloping and succumbing to the hand of God to just say, I'm ready to be healed now. I got to process this. And so they're showing me the story of what I was experiencing. They're saying it's okay to accept the loss of that old version of you. Because remember, again, it's a multi-dimension. There's various meanings of what we're saying, those of you that know our offerings. So we're talking about self-worth there. And again, we're saying healing and processing and integrating our multidimensional experience. So what was coming up next is the grief and the loss of that. And you say, well, why would I grieve the loss of not being, be taken advantage of and not valued? Because you're honoring that was a part of you that needed your acknowledgement. That's an old version of you you're ready to release to source creator and transform into this new source of you. It comes back as a higher packet of light. See, a higher packet of light. It's no longer in the shadow. It's in the light now. Because your arms, I'm going to honor that. I didn't stand up for you. I didn't have my back when that confrontation happened and you allowed someone to devalue you. You didn't stand up for yourself. I've got my back now, but I'm going to value you anyways for having the courage to stand there and be devalued. See what we're saying? And what they said to me this morning is that the constant thread is you and love. You loved yourself enough to place yourself in an experience where you were devalued and it harmed you. It harmed your heart. It harmed your spirit. It harmed your cells. But now you get to say, I'm going to surrender that old version of me and I'm going to have loss and grief over that. Because that was a beautiful experience and painful and traumatic. But now I'm going to honor it back into me because I get to honor that part. I'm processing me. I'm processing me. It's all me. It's all love. I'm going to love all of it. And then you get to integrate it. I've allowed myself to soften within the understanding of self-worth and how so in every thread of my experience, self-worth is noted. It's noted in how I dress and how I talk to myself. Self-worth is the food that I buy. Self-worth is the people I call in. Self-worth is the career and the manifestations of my own dreams. Self-worth is how I allow people to treat me and how I treat myself. I acknowledge a part of the self-worth is also the processing of it, because there's going to be sadness and grief as I let those old versions of me go. And I'm going to allow myself some pride and some courage to say that, wow, I stood there and I allowed myself to be so harmed and damaged. And I'm going to also pause, and I'm also going to process the sadness. And as you give yourself permission to process the sadness of being harmed or manipulated or abused or controlled, you just feel your chakras just surrender into the gentleness of you. And you start crying and you start honoring yourself. I'm going to process. I'm going to give myself permission to be sad. I'm allowing myself to be sad. Because oftentimes, for those of us that come with such unique and special gifts, and we're so open and we're so vulnerable all the time, and after so many experiences of pain, our hearts shut down and we see ourselves harden. And then, like, for what I've been going through the past little while, is to soften again and to come to the beauty of what the healing and the integration and the processing is all about, so that I can reclaim my heart again, and I can reclaim that part of me that was really vulnerable and sweet and innocent, to be so kind all the time. But now in that also processing, I'm also coming with great clarity and great strength and great wisdom to discern energy, to discern the motives of others, to discern the lessons from those experiences. And that's how you evolve as the soul. So just in this one experience that we gave you, you can see the multidimensional allness that's going on with that one experience of self-worth that affects every part of your life, your cells, your health, your wellness, your mental stability, everything. And why, as I've said so many times before, that the processing and integration is my favorite stage of the Ascension cycle. And you can do it every day. The more that you do it, the more in love you get with your allness, because you feel in every way your alchemy. And it's through love. It's you. Loving those aspects of you that you call in to face you, to challenge you, to be a part of your process of pain and healing, to be a part of that part of you that says, okay, now, no, I'm going to say no. Your soul wants the expansiveness of everything that you're meant to create and to heal. There's a reason why. There's always a reason why, so that you can love yourself and know that you're within it all, so that you can heal yourself and know that you're within it all, to know that you can come forward and say, I'm processing something that's so very profound, I don't even understand it. But I'm just going to give myself permission to just be sad. Because I've lost so many parts of me that others took for granted or didn't appreciate or didn't value. But they're reflecting that to me because I needed to value myself so much more. And my higher self and my soul was saying, you are so much worthy of greater treatment and those that love you and appreciate and value you. So process your old story first, your old version first, and love it and appreciate it because it was so courageous. It was so courageous to create a life of so much trauma. And I'm going to process every time that you were bullied and put down, and every time that you were energetically beat up or manipulated or taken from or stolen from, whatever your traumas were, the beauty is in the processing and the breaking of it. Because you get to see the richness of those vibrational stories that source will soak you in it, and you succumb to the greatness of you because it's always in there. It's you in love. And you're giving yourself permission to be it. Again, it's not the doing of it, it's the being of that wound. And you got this. It's not comfortable and it's awkward, but then you know you're ascending. You know you're working your stuff out. It's always you. And you're valuing and you're honoring and you're loving all parts of it. You're loving every person that brought you into it. And it takes a long time to be in that value stage, especially when you've gone through so many challenging stories of pain and hurt and harm that are most often than not so unnecessary. But we're allowing ourselves to be this for ourselves so that we can allow our children to be that for themselves. To know that all they need is within them, that their self-clarity, that their self-knowledge and their self-strength is within them, so that they can create greater stories of oneness and wholeness and release those stories of us and them and good and bad and light and dark. It's all neutral. You are a sovereign being of greatness, and you can allow everything to be a beautiful, sacred story of you. And the processing of your pain, the processing of your sadness, the processing of your greatness, the processing of something you did really well, the process of you finally saying, hey, I'm going to take ownership of my life and I'm going to start creating in a way that really serves me, and my heart just shines because I want that. I deserve that. I get to choose. And I get to honor those parts that were so sad and lonely for so long, because they're a part of that breaking. They get just to come forward and say, I gave myself permission to feel everything I had to feel because it was painful. And it was sad that there was nobody there for me. And that little part of me that wanted somebody there for me, that little part of me that said, hey, I'm your friend, I got your hand. And give yourself permission to feel the sadness. Giving myself permission to feel through my self-worth because I'm worthy of having a great friend to hold my hand. I'm worthy to attract people that treat me with great grandness and appreciation and the value of what I offer. Because I feel it in myself now. I'm so beautiful, I'm so special, and I love myself whole. I value myself for all the times that my voice wasn't taken for goodness and for kindness and for inspiration. I love that part of me. I love the part of me that just recognizes all the good in others. I recognize the part of me that will never stop looking and seeking and bringing light. I recognize and I love the parts of me that only me know. I love and recognize the parts of me that absolutely seek and love and believe and activate magic and mystery, for everything is source. Everything is love. And in my processing of sadness and in my processing of the pain, I'm put right back together again. Because I recognize myself as love. I give myself permission to love. I put myself back together with love. I allow myself to process that pain. It's okay. It's okay. I love myself. I'm so profound. I'm so grand. I'm so grand. I'm so grand. I believe in magic. I believe in magic. That is love. That is love. That is And it's okay that my bodies are releasing this pain. It's okay that my bodies are releasing this sadness of not being valued and worthy of a really great, sacred communion and experience and love. Because I know I get that within me first. And that's what Source is showing me. I recognize that. I'm acknowledging it and I'm accepting it, because you know what? As I'm accepting it, I'm saying, this is my new worthiness now. I've recognized it. I've processed that pain. I've allowed it to move through me. I've allowed it to show me the infinite wisdoms at every level, physical, mental, emotionally, etheric, and energetic, of what this has allowed me to experience. Allow me to become. That's what my soul wants. I'm strong enough. I got this. And if I have to do it 10 times a day, I will. Love me now. And every breath I call in great light, I call in great love, I call in great light, I call in great love, and I'm restored and renewed with Source, and I reach up for the highest codes. I give myself permission to be healed. I give myself permission to know that I'm valued. I'm so special. I'm so special. I'm a sacred vessel of light. Thank you, Holy Mother and Father, for loving me. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, for loving me, and all my teams that are bathing me in the sacred. I'm loving you so much. Thank you for supporting me and loving me and supporting me and loving me. Because within every breath, I'm healing my body, I'm healing my organs, I'm healing my cells, and I'm releasing what needs to be released to be transmuted, for it's a part of me as well. I'm all. I'm a part of that sadness. I'm a part of the healing of it. I'm a part of the strength that's now being renewed within my bodies, because those cells remember of when I was strong. My codes and my DNA are activating a part of me that was strong, and now I'm bringing that online because I've made space for it. I've released that sadness, that less than myself, which is still a part of me, but now I'm calling it and I get to transmute it and make it all light. Because I can. I understand. I understand all that is love and all that is light, and how I am the commander of all that I am is healing. And I get to bathe my field with light. I get to bathe my field with the happiness of who I am becoming, that I've given myself permission to be sad. It's okay. It's okay, sweet child. It's okay. You're from the stars, you're from the heavens, and sometimes this is such a very uncomfortable and awkward place to be, when so many heart chakras are closed and the gentleness and the care hasn't been there. But you have a sacred mother and a sacred child within you that are waiting to be adored, are waiting to be enveloped in your own love, and the succumbing of who you are is gentleness and care and kindness. And that's the Divine Mother awakening within you. You're allowed to be happy and you're allowed to be joyful. I get to be happy and joyful because that's me now. I get to honor this. I'm worthy of being happy. I'm worthy of being joyful. I call in greater light. I call in greater light. I call in greater light. I know who I am. I know who I am. I am Source Creator. I'm Source Creator. This is the epicenter of who I am, and I enjoy being happy. I enjoy being filled with light. I enjoy knowing that I am the commander of all of my emotions, and I allow the emotions to be a part of me. That's how I manifest. That's how I create, because I want to feel good. I want to manifest my own sense of greatness. And I know that throughout my day and throughout my week, I'm going to be processing everything that I have just experienced, because that's how profound I am. And I feel myself breathing with Source. And I'm continuing in any moment that anything comes up that feels like an emotion of release, because I'm constantly a vessel of light and love that's processing and changing and transmuting. And I just allow it to run through me and say, I appreciate that. I appreciate that as a part of my experience. And now I'm learning to love myself and hold myself in high regard and high respect. I value that emotion just moving through me. Thank you. I am a part of the All with Source Creator. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. My heart will always stay open. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. I make those sacred invocations for me, and I process everything for me. And I will allow myself the most expansive light and the most expansive joy and happiness of all that I am. And in this, I choose to be in full alignment of my highest destiny always. So as you go through the understanding of processing, it's a multidimensional experience, and it moves with you as you move. It doesn't stop. You're constantly processing when you are awake, because you can feel it. You'll move about your day, and something will come to you. Those are your fields of information that are touching you to finish that processing and continue. It's an evolution of source, always. It never shuts off. We are just the ones that shut off our attunement to it. And we think that we're not receptive to spirit, but we're always receptive to spirit. It's always 24/7, never stops. Sometimes when we come into the physical form, it's so dense that we just shut down who we are as spirit. We are becoming and learning now that we're always spirit. And our body is this beautiful vessel that we get to take with us. So that just gives you an idea of what we're going to be practicing in these Divine Feminine classes, to understand more about the multidimensional allness and how it receives its wounding, understanding how the healing process works and the integration of it. Remember, integration and processing are also a multidimensional experience, and it never stops. It's 24/7, and why we have the dreams that we do, and why the dream journaling is important before you do your clearing, because it's always integrated in your clearing. Because our dreams are higher consciousness states and they're in multidimensional realms at a soul level, it's most often than not hard for us to interpret and understand what's going on in dreams. And so that's why it's important to write them down, the high points of your dreams, and then in your clearing, process anything that is a residual of your dreams, so that when you're awakening, when you're in your processing and integration, you get to pull out those clarity points. The more that you get to work with your own set of spiritual routine, you will feel this is very fluid, and you'll just get it. Your teams will just show you what you need to see, and there'll be a beautiful assimilation of all that you are as spirit, moving in your uniqueness of your evolution, source. It's a beautiful song. It's very sacred. And allowing yourself the permission to process. So important to process. Otherwise, you're going to keep manifesting experiences where you got to finish off that processing, because there's a lesson in there. And the lesson is always self-love and self-value. Give yourself permission to be sad. Be okay with it. Who said sad was not allowed? You're allowed to be sad. You have to grieve the loss. That's what sadness is. I'm grieving an old part of me that I get to say, no, it doesn't serve me anymore to be less than. I want to call in a new version of me, and I'm going to honor. I'm going to bathe that part of me with light. I'm going to say, I honor you. I want to allow you to feel that sadness. And also, they're just showing me that when you're having experiences with others that are hurtful, to your soul, because your soul is so gentle, your soul is unconditional love of source, that in your forgiveness and in your processing, you're assisting them in processing that. And I've always known this, but they're just showing me to remind others that when you come in circles of people, and if you're awakening and they're not quite awakening, or they're in a different part of their ascension path, or if they choose not to awaken, you're processing what they're unable to. And so just understand that. And that's why sometimes as empaths and crystals, we end up processing for the collective, and we end up knowing that. And that's why we spend as much time as we do in our healing process, because we understand we're not just healing for ourselves, we're healing for the collective at a collective level. And so, and why we often need those greater times of seclusion, greater times of being with Gaia, greater times of our silence with our teams, and to honor and heal the multidimensional bodies and the fields that we come within, because we're doing clearing and healing for those that have harmed us. It's our acceptance of that lesson, and it's our acceptance of that contract, and it's a part of our unconditional love as the whole. And so that's just a sacred honor, and that's what Source and our teams and our guides do with us. So we're so grateful. We hope that you've enjoyed this beautiful experience of these beautiful classes that we offer, and how it's multidimensional. You're flowing within your allness of spirit. You're allowing yourself your whole commandmentship of who you are as a profound healer, as an alchemist of you, and you get to direct who you are in your unique way and emulate this beautiful experience for the children. That's what they need. They need to see us be the commandmentship of us, so that everything outside of us begins to start to shift. We don't need to be told what to do and how to do it from outside sources and systems and governments. We are the commandmentship of who we are as divine beings of love and light and healing. And we are the ones that create our reality. And so allow us to be loved and healed and processing all of the integration that needs to be done. And be in love with it, because it's all you. Again, the common thread is you and love in everything and all beings in all moments. It's you and love. And so, dear lighted ones, the donation link is down below, and we're going to probably have a link to the Divine Feminine probably sometime up this week, and our World Weekly Ascension classes. The donation key is below as well, and then they're every Saturdays at 11. We love you so much. We rainbow you, and we love you so much. Bye, Sacred Tribe. Have fun processing and loving yourself and integrating. We love you so much. You're valued. Bye.